How many people have told you that your kids could end up worse because you left them money? Doesn't make sense, right? But the research is eye-opening. Some research has suggested that many wealthy families struggle to preserve wealth beyond the second and third generation. It's not because the money ran out. And in many cases, the challenges come from how unprepared the heirs are to interact with the wealth they receive. So if you worked your entire life building wealth and you're planning to pass it to your kids, you need to hear what I'm about to tell you. The way that wealth is transferred can unintentionally contribute to entitlement, reduced motivation, long-term family tension. There is a better way. And today I want to show you exactly how that's going to work. Hey, I'm Jason Solomon. I've spent more than 20 years helping families figure out how to transfer wealth without transferring dysfunction. Today, I want to show you something that changes how most people think about inheritance. The problem is almost never the money itself. It's usually the structure or the complete absence of one. What I'm going to walk you through has nothing to do with cutting your kids out of your will. It means structuring your gifts so that it helps them build a better life, not quietly undo the character or the independence that they could have developed on their own. Let me show you. A 20-year research project on 3,200 families by the Williams Group found that 70% of wealthy families, they lose their wealth by the second generation, and 90% of them lose their wealth by the third generation. It's not usually bad investments or market crashes. It's a breakdown of communication and trust within the family combined with unprepared heirs. The way the money is transferred can become part of the problem. A hardworking couple spends 40 years building a $2 million estate, and then they pass away. 3 children inherit everything outright. Within 5 years, one child has blown through their share on cars and vacations. Another one quit their job because they thought they had enough and they didn't have to work anymore. And the third one is resentful because they got the same amount even though they were much more responsible. Family relationships can become strained. The legacy those parents worked so hard to build becomes the very thing that tears their family apart. The worst part? It didn't need to happen. It's totally preventable. So why does it keep happening and what stops it? When someone receives money they didn't earn, something shifts. Researchers call it sudden wealth syndrome. Some heirs who receive large inheritances struggle with motivation, identity, anxiety, or family tension. Just think about a spoiled young child. The same thing happens later in life, especially when there has been little preparation or communication beforehand. In some situations, when the wealth arrives without preparation or responsibility attached to it, it creates these emotional and behavioral challenges. The thing is, humans, we need meaning more than we need comfort. So then there's this huge entitlement trap. When children grow up knowing a large inheritance is coming, they subconsciously adjust their behavior. Why take risks? Why build something of your own when you know a check's going to eventually show up? It's not a character flaw, it's human nature. Incentives shape behavior, and traditional inheritance structures can sometimes create unintended incentives. Fixing it is not about changing the amount that you leave, it's about changing the structure around it. Before I show you what the families who got this right do differently, I want to pause. If you're watching this video right now and you're thinking about your own situation and about your own kids, and you realize you've never had a real conversation about what you want the money to do for them when you're gone, then you're not alone. And this is exactly the conversation that we have with our clients. It almost always starts with parents who thought they had this figured out. Let's talk through what the right structure looks like for your specific family. The link is in the description below to book a time with me directly. The solution is not to leave your kids nothing. That creates its own problems, obviously. Resentment, confusion, and the feeling that you didn't care. It's also not to leave everything at once with no structure and hope for the best. Families that tend to preserve both their wealth and their relationships do 2 things differently. First, they separate the timing from the windfall. Instead of one lump sum at death, they use structures that release money over time. A portion at 30, another portion at 40, and another portion at 50. Sometimes they time the release of wealth to milestones like completing education, maintaining employment, matching every dollar their child earns with $1 from the trust. The money becomes a tailwind behind someone still building their own life, not a reason to stop building. Second, they build protection without removing autonomy. Not a trust so restrictive that it feels like control from the grave, because that's not fun for anybody. The goal is a structure that funds a home purchase, a business, an education, while limiting access for pure consumption spending. The message built into the structure becomes super clear. This money is here to help you build something, not to help you avoid building anything. Now let me show you what this looks like when it works, because this is the part where most people go from uncertain to clear. David and Catherine came to me after 40 years of building a $3 million estate. 2 children in their 30s. One was a physician who was super responsible, financially literate, had demonstrated she could handle money. The other one was still finding his way. He had different careers, struggles with spending, and David and Catherine knew it. Their original plan was simple: split everything 50-50 at death and let the kids figure it out. But when we sat down and walked through what it would look like for each child, they got very uncomfortable. They loved both their children equally, but they knew that handing their son a large sum of cash was not going to help him. In fact, it might hurt him. So here's what we built for them instead. Their daughter received her share outright based on her demonstrated financial stability and her comfort managing assets independently. Their son's share went into a trust that matched his earned income dollar for dollar up to a certain threshold each year, with additional provisions for education, healthcare expenses, and a first home purchase. If he maintained employment and stayed out of significant debt for 10 years, the remaining principal would be released to him outright. Here's what happened when they presented that plan to him. Their son thanked him. He told them he had been worried about the inheritance. He knew his own tendencies. And having that structure and accountability built in gave him relief. It didn't give him resentment. That's what good legacy planning looks like. It's not about control. It's about love expressed through wisdom. For some families, there's additional layers that are worth exploring depending on the situation. In some situations, charitable remainder trusts might allow families to transfer assets, get an income stream while they're alive, access a charitable deduction, and ultimately direct the remainder to a cause that they care about. Then they can use other assets or structures to address the needs of their children separately. A wealth replacement trust with its CRT can be structured to pay out tax-free dollars over a period of time, and there's also other ways to continue your legacy and pay your children a reasonable salary, so you're helping your kids a little and doing a lot of good in the world. There's also arrangements that can transfer wealth in more tax-efficient ways while maintaining some oversight. These strategies have complex rules, and they're not right for everyone, which is exactly why having the right conversation with the right advisor matters. Here's what I want you to take from all this. At the beginning of this video, I told you your kids would end up worse off because you left them money. That's not a reason to stop building a legacy. It's a reason to build it differently. Families whose children are closer, more ambitious, more grateful because of what is left to them, they're not lucky. They made deliberate decisions about the structure, the timing, and the conversation they had before it was too late. They focused on making sure the structure reflected the values they wanted to pass on. If you want to learn more about the kinds of conversations and strategies families are using to navigate retirement and legacy planning, I've also included a link below where you can download my free retirement guide. If you want help building that kind of plan for your family, something that protects your children while genuinely supporting them, book a time with me. The link's in the description below. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.